The kitchen at Thanksgiving always smelled the same: roasted turkey, sage stuffing, and that particular sweetness of pumpkin pie cooling on the counter. I was helping Mom arrange the dishes when she turned to me with that look mothers have, the one that says they've been holding something in for too long. "Margaret," she said, wiping her hands on her apron, "why didn't you come to your sister's baby shower last month?" I kept my eyes on the silverware I was folding into napkins. My hands were steady, even though my heart wasn't. "I had mine too, Mom. You were invited." She stopped what she was doing. The kitchen went quiet except for the low murmur of a football game from the living room where Dad sat with my husband Tom. "We never got anything," Mom said, her voice rising slightly. "I would have been there, Margaret. You know I would have been." Then there. I walked to my purse and pulled out the envelope. Inside were the signed delivery confirmations from the post office. Every package I'd sent, the invitation, the registry information, the reminder card, all signed for, all with the same flowing signature. My sister Catherine's signature. Mom's face went pale as she looked at the papers. Her fingers trembled slightly as she held them up to the light, as if hoping the signatures would change into someone else's handwriting. "Oh no," she whispered. "Oh, Margaret, no. I was 53 years old. Catherine was 48. We'd been through a lifetime of sisterhood, childhood games, teenage secrets, adult disagreements. But this felt different. This felt like something had broken that couldn't be easily mended." "I need to sit down," Mom said. We sat at the kitchen table, just the two of us. Through the doorway, I could see Catherine in the dining room, laughing at something her husband said. Her baby bump was visible under her sweater. At 48, she'd called it her miracle pregnancy, and maybe it was... "Why would she do this?" Mom asked, though her voice suggested she already knew the answer. The truth was complicated, the way truth often is in families. Catherine and I had always been different. She was the spontaneous one, the one who painted and traveled and lived by feeling. I was the practical one, the accountant, the planner. For years, those differences had complemented each other. Then they started to compete. When I had my baby shower 26 years ago for my daughter Emma, Catherine had been traveling in Europe. She'd sent a telegram, people still did that then, saying she couldn't make it. I understood, I really did. She was young, finding herself, living her dreams. But somewhere in Catherine's mind, a different story had taken root. She'd convinced herself I'd been hurt, that I'd held a grudge all these years. And maybe, in some small, unexamined corner of my heart, there had been a tiny seed of disappointment that I'd never let grow into resentment. Until she made sure I'd feel what she thought I'd felt. "I'll talk to her," Mom said, starting to rise. "Wait," I said, touching her arm. I found Catherine in the hallway, adjusting a picture frame. She'd always been particular about things being just right. "Can we talk?" I asked. "Outside, maybe?" We put on our coats and walked to the backyard. The November air was crisp and the trees were mostly bare, their leaves scattered across the lawn in browns and golds. We'd played under these same trees as children, back when everything was simpler. "Mom showed me the signatures," I said quietly. Catherine's face crumpled. Not with anger or defiance, but with something that looked like relief mixed with shame. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "I'm so sorry, Margaret." "Why?" She wrapped her arms around herself, around the baby growing inside her. "Do you remember my shower? The one I had for Emma? You were in Europe, I understood." "That's the thing," Catherine said, tears starting to fall. "You understood, you were always so understanding, so reasonable about everything. But I wanted you to know what it felt like, to miss something important, to feel left out. So you made me miss yours? I thought it would make us even." she said, her voice small. But sitting in that room full of people, opening presents, eating cake, all I could think about was that you should have been there. That I wanted you there more than anyone except Mom. I watched my younger sister cry, this woman who was about to become a mother herself at an age when most women were becoming grandmothers. Her hair had threads of silver now, same as mine. When had we both gotten older? I didn't hold a grudge about Europe, I said. I was happy you were living your life. I know that now, Catherine said. I think I've always known it. But I built this story in my head, this narrative where you were secretly hurt and I needed to teach you a lesson, or balance things out, or I don't even know anymore. It sounds so petty and small when I say it out loud. A breeze scattered leaves around our feet. Somewhere in the neighborhood, children were playing, their voices carrying in the cold air. I was hurt, I admitted. When I realized what you'd done, I was really hurt, Catherine, I know. I'm so sorry. But I also understand something about regret now that I didn't understand when I was younger, I continued. We do foolish things sometimes. We let old hurts or imagined slights grow into something bigger than they should be. We make choices we can't take back. Catherine looked at me with red eyes. Can you forgive me? I thought about all the years we'd had together. The time she'd stayed up all night with me when my husband had surgery. The way she'd held my hand at Dad's retirement party when I got emotional during my speech. The birthday cards that always came with terrible jokes written inside. The phone calls that lasted hours about nothing important. Yes, I said. I forgive you. She hugged me then, carefully, the way pregnant women hug. And we both cried a little in the November cold. There's something I want to do, I said when we pulled apart. If you're willing, anything, Catherine said. I want to throw you a baby shower, a real one. Next weekend, just family and close friends. Nothing fancy, just celebrating this baby who's coming. Margaret, you don't have to. I know I don't have to, I want to. This baby deserves to be celebrated, and so do you. Catherine's hand went to her belly. It's a girl, she said softly. I haven't told anyone yet except Mom. A girl, I repeated, smiling. Do you have a name? I was thinking Hope, she said. Because she is one. At my age, having a healthy pregnancy, it feels like hope. Hope is perfect. We walked back inside together, past the pictures of us as children, past the growth chart marks on the doorframe that recorded our heights year by year, past all the accumulated evidence of a shared history. In the kitchen, Mom was quietly crying into a dish towel. When she saw us come in together, her face transformed. We're okay, I told her. We're going to be okay. Dad appeared in the doorway looking confused. Everything all right? Turkey's getting cold? Everything's fine, Dad, Catherine said. Better than fine. At dinner, I sat next to Catherine instead of across from her. We passed dishes back and forth, our hands occasionally touching, and it felt like something had shifted back into place. Tom caught my eye from across the table and smiled. He knew what those signatures had meant, how hurt I'd been. He'd wanted to confront Catherine himself, but I'd asked him to let me handle it. Now he looked proud of me, and I felt proud too. Not for being the bigger person, but for being honest about the hurt and then choosing to move past it. I have an announcement, I said when dessert was being served. Next Saturday, I'm hosting a baby shower for Catherine and little Hope. Catherine's eyes filled with tears again. Her name is Hope, she explained to the table. Mom clasped her hands together. Oh, that's beautiful. Both the name and the shower. Margaret, are you sure? Catherine asked. I'm sure. And this time, I promise, I'll actually attend. We laughed, and it felt good. That particular kind of laughter that comes after tears, after truth, after the hard work of forgiveness. The next week, I threw myself into planning. I ordered pink and white balloons, found a cake baker who could do something special on short notice, and called all the women in our family and Catherine's close friends. Everyone said yes. Everyone wanted to celebrate. The day of the shower, Catherine arrived early to help set up. "You're the guest of honor," I protested. "You're not supposed to be working." "Let me help," she said. "Please. It feels right." So we worked together, hanging streamers, arranging flowers, setting out plates and cups. Emma, my daughter, came with her 2 children, Catherine's niece and nephew, soon to be older cousins to Hope. "I'm glad you two worked things out," Emma said to me quietly while Catherine was in the other room. "I hated seeing you hurt." "Me too," I admitted. "But sometimes we have to go through the hurt to get to the healing." That sounds like something Grandma would say. "Well, we're getting to be Grandma's age now, your aunt and I." Emma hugged me. "You're going to be a wonderful aunt to Hope." When the guests arrived, the house filled with the sound of women's voices, laughter, the particular warmth that comes when people gather to celebrate new life. Catherine sat in the place of honor, a chair we'd decorated with ribbons, and I sat beside her, helping her keep track of who gave what gift. "Open this one next," I said, handing her a box wrapped in yellow paper. It was from me, a handmade baby book, the kind where you record milestones and paste in photos and write down memories. "I started one of these for Emma," I said. "I thought Hope should have one too." Catherine opened it and saw that I'd already filled in the first page. It read, "Hope Catherine, you are already so loved. Your mother is brave and honest and strong. And she's going to teach you beautiful things about living fully and loving completely. Welcome to our family." Catherine couldn't speak for a moment. She just held the book to her chest and cried happy tears while everyone else in the room dabbed at their eyes too. "Thank you," she finally whispered to me. "Thank you for this. For all of it. Thank you for letting me be part of it," I said. After the shower, after the guests had gone and the decorations had come down, Catherine and I sat on the porch swing, tired and content. "I'm scared," she admitted, "about being a mother at 48. About whether I can do this." "You can do this," I said firmly, "and I'll be here to help. Emma too. Mom, we're all here. Even after what I did, especially after what you did," I said. "Because you owned it. You apologized. You meant it. That takes courage, Catherine. Hope is lucky to have a mother with that kind of courage." She leaned her head on my shoulder, the way she used to when we were girls. "I'm lucky to have a sister with that kind of grace," she said. We sat there as the afternoon faded into evening, 2 sisters who'd found their way back to each other, 2 women who'd learned that family meant choosing forgiveness over grudges, understanding over anger, hope over hurt. 3 months later, Hope was born on a snowy February morning. I was in the waiting room with Mom and Dad and Tom when the nurse came out to tell us mother and baby were healthy and ready for visitors. Catherine looked exhausted and radiant when we entered the room. In her arms was the tiniest person I'd ever seen, wrapped in a pink blanket, her face scrunched up and perfect. "Margaret," Catherine said, "would you like to hold your niece?" I took Hope carefully, this small miracle, this child who'd brought healing before she was even born. "Hello, sweet girl," I whispered. "I'm your Aunt Margaret, and I'm so glad you're here." Hope opened her eyes, that dark, unfocused newborn gaze, and I felt my heart expand in a way I hadn't expected. Love, it turned out, didn't divide as it spread through a family. It multiplied. Over the following years, I watched Catherine grow into motherhood, with the same passion she brought to everything else. She painted Hope's room with murals of forests and stars. She took her on adventures to museums and parks and libraries. She read to her every night, silly voices and all. And I was there for it. The first birthday, the first day of preschool, the dance recitals and art projects, and endless questions about how the world worked. One Thanksgiving, when Hope was 4 years old, she climbed into my lap at the dinner table. "Aunt Margaret," she said, "Mommy told me you threw her a baby shower before I was born." "I did," I confirmed. "What's a baby shower?" "It's when people who love you come together to celebrate that you're coming into the world." Hope thought about this seriously, her small face contemplative. "So it's like a party for someone who isn't here yet." "Exactly like that." "That's nice," Hope said. "People should have parties for love even when they can't see it yet." From across the table, Catherine met my eyes. We'd never told Hope about the signatures, about the hurt that had come before the healing. Maybe someday we would. When she was old enough to understand that people make mistakes and love finds a way through them. But for now, this moment was enough. This child speaking wisdom she didn't know she had. This family gathered around a table. This ordinary miracle of forgiveness made visible in everyday kindness. "Yes, sweetheart," I said, kissing the top of Hope's head. "People should have parties for love even when they can't see it yet." And in that moment, I understood that the signatures that had revealed my sister's deception had also revealed something more important. That love, real love, doesn't keep score or seek revenge or hold on to hurt longer than necessary. Real love signs up for forgiveness, for second chances, for hope, always, always for hope. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of family, forgiveness, and the quiet courage it takes to choose kindness. Leave a comment below about a time when forgiveness changed your life. I'd love to hear your story.